Chapter 6. Wednesday afternoon. Remembering Wendy's comments to bring her more resale clothing, Doreen took the remaining piece of carrot cake and a cup of tea and walked up to the master bedroom. She'd moved her clothes in but hadn't moved Nan's out. A huge double closet ran along one wall. In truth, she'd been saving this chore for a rainy day. But right now, the distraction would be good, and seeing Thaddeus's food dwindling down daily was another constant reminder that she needed more money. Since Nan had this habit of hiding or losing track of money in a lot of her clothing, it had been a huge source of extra cash for Doreen the last time she went through Nan's clothing. So much so that Doreen was still using that found money for groceries. She started at one end of the closet, pulling out about a half-dozen hangers, all with evening clothes on them. She held up a couple dresses and whistled. "Wow, Nan. When would you have ever worn these?" One was sparkly, looked like a 1920s dress from the Gatsby era. But it was seriously stunning, and silver. She laid down all the dresses on the bed and hung up that silver one on the back of the door and checked its condition. It was really gorgeous, also in great shape. And, from the size of it, would fit Doreen. She frowned. "I'll never have any place to wear something like this." Yet she was loath to let it go. She kept it on the back of the door while she checked out the other things she'd pulled out. Each was a dress in a very different style, very unique. They weren't necessarily Doreen's style. However, she would never have said they were Nan's either. But it revealed Nan's fashion sense and personality at a much younger age. And man, she must have been a party animal. Still, these dresses were of excellent quality, and that meant a lot in terms of selling them. She set aside 2 more she was interested in for herself, and 3 she hung on the curtain rod on the small window to decide on later. And then she went to check through all the pockets but found nothing. She pulled out 2 more dresses, disappointed, because no cash was found in the pockets. She found something in the next dress with padded bra cups, a $50 bill tucked into one bra cup. Stunned, she pulled it out. But then thought about all the times she'd gone out for an evening. If she didn't want to take a purse with her, but needed to have some pocket money, this would be a perfect hiding place. That made her go back and check every one of the other dresses. That was the only dress she found more money in, but she did make sure she checked them all out very thoroughly, including the waistbands. She worked steadily for another hour, going through another good portion of the closet. Some of the items were not today's style, yet were classical styles Doreen could wear anytime. At least she hoped so. When her phone rang, she answered it absent-mindedly. "Bitch," came the stranger's voice at the other end. "Pardon me?" Click. She snorted. "Well, it's not like I haven't been called that before." She put down the phone and returned to the dresses she'd pulled out on the bed. One was a hippie-style muumuu. She laughed. It might be fun if she ever gained a couple £100, but she couldn't imagine wearing it now. It was made with such a gorgeous material, though. If only she could sew, she could do so much with it. She placed it in the pile to be taken to the consignment store. The next one she thought was a knit dress, but instead was almost a floor-length cardigan. It was gorgeous. The material was soft, smooth, and silky. She checked the pockets and crowed in delight as she pulled out a change purse. It was beaded in some kind of gold lame, which would have gone with one of the dressier frocks, not necessarily the cardigan. She opened up the coin purse to find it crammed with coins and bills. Carefully, she emptied it on the bed. There were a lot of coins, maybe $10 worth, along with several 20s. As she peeled open the 20s, she found a 50 inside. She stared in amazement. "Nan, how could you possibly have misplaced all this money? I'd have gone nuts if I was missing $50. When the phone rang a second time, she didn't think anything of it. "Hello." "Bitch, you'll die too." Snick. "Once, okay, whatever. Twice now you're being a pain in the ass," she said. She waited to see if the caller would ring her a third time. But nobody called back. Checking for the telephone number, she just found unknown caller. She wrote down the time of both calls and waited to see if another one would come. She turned and studied the coin purse. It was such a cute thing that she didn't want to get rid of it. She wasn't sure she wanted to sell the long cardigan sweater either. She took it off the hanger and put it on in front of the full-length mirror. It stopped just about mid-calf and was a thick sage green with big rolled-up cuffs at the wrists. She wrapped it around herself and smiled. "I'm keeping you," she announced. And then the phone rang for a third time. She saw the same unknown caller designation on her cell phone screen and answered it. "Hello." "You'll get yours, bitch." "You are getting boring," she said. This time she hung up the phone first. And grinned.